Hello, I welcome you to today's webinar about Business Model Canvas. My name is Annette Schönburg. I have been working as counselor and trainer for about 7 years now. I support business founders, freelancers, and already existing companies in their business development. That means I support them in their organizational and strategic development. Our topic for today is very complex. If I'm talking too fast or if you have a hard time understanding me for another reason, please let me know. Thank you. Before we start with our today's topic, I would like to point out that with your business model canvas, you can take part in the business plan competition Berlin-Brandenburg. In 3 stages of the competition honors the best business plans with a prize money. You can enter with either a classic business plan or create your plan based on the business model canvas method. For further information, you can check out the Business Plan Competition Berlin-Brandenburg website, ask the team of the competition that supports me here today as well, or check out the manual. The manual can be downloaded from the homepage. The website and the manual are provided in English as well. Since we talk about business model canvas, I first like to introduce the term business model. Usually, it is a process to develop an idea to a reliable business model, no matter if you're in the stage of founding your business or if your business is already established and you plan to extend it. A business model describes the core principles of how an organization creates, delivers, and captures value in, for example, economic or social or cultural context. It depends in which context you like to perform. A business model is the visualized part of a business strategy. You can either write a business plan or transform your idea to a business model by using the tool Business Model Canvas. No matter which tool you choose, a business idea will be developed to a business model by visualizing and testing your idea in theory until your idea will be reliable on the market and is proven to be a sustainable business concept which is financially worth it. The visualization of a business model is fundamental for every analysis of the organization. And again, there are 2 options: a bankable business plan and business model canvas. But before you start doing, it is recommended to answer the question why at first. Many people start doing something. They just start with the what. They start their business, open their store, whatsoever. They might get a loan from the bank or from their grandma for their investments, and often they personally bear the risk in case of bankruptcy. The risks may sometimes be the engine of established organizations and freelancers for running 24/7. But still by then, they have not thought about why they do what they do. Why did they want to open that store? The first question to answer yourself is, why do I want to start my own business? Why is my business good for me and my customers? Why do I want to develop my idea to a business model? Why do I want to extend my existing business? To answer the question why means to think about your motivation to start your own business. And it means to think about your motivation to start your own business with that exact idea. So the why question should be answered because your own motivation should be your engine of running and doing, especially during tough times when the organization has, for example, too much work or lacks work, has not enough employees, or its main customer hasn't paid. After having answered the question how would I do it can be answered. How will your strategy be to do what? As said earlier, A business model is the visualized part of a business strategy. And that is where we are at today. When the business model is developed, the founder can start doing the what. This circle derives from the so-called golden circle published by Simon Sinek, which is actually a principle of how to explain something to someone in order why, how, and at last what. It helps to think from a customer's perspective. For the next 60 minutes, you get to know more about what is business model canvas by definition. I give you an overview on the structure of business model canvas with its 4 areas, to then explain all 9 components of the tool and how to work with it. What is business model canvas? Business model canvas is a strategic management tool to develop and document existing business models or to generate new business models. It helps businesses coordinate their activities better and illustrate potential relationships at a very early stage. The specific quality of the Canvas tool is that the business model can be depicted on one single page in a structured and clear way. This makes your business idea tangible and enables a clear and focused discussion. The visual impact makes, for instance, brainstorming easier. It also makes it easier to recognize potential problems and pitfalls at a very early stage. By using the Canvas method, you can have a holistic look on your business model and easily identify what makes you successful and what could be risk factors. You can use the tool to constructively improve and fine-tune your business model. A good presentation of your business model is the starting point for any analysis. It helps you understand your existing or upcoming business, and you can make comparisons. You can also discover potential areas for improvement or develop and investigate new business ideas in a systematic way. Your business model only makes sense in its entirety, which makes it very complex. Business model canvas consists of 9 components. It is just important that you follow a certain order. The canvas model with its 9 components clearly presents 4 basic business areas on the one page. In the center of your document, in the center of your page, you document what products and or services you provide and offer to your customers. On the right-hand side, there you develop your external strategy. Questions to be answered may include: which product and or service am I providing? Who are my clients? And which client needs am I fulfilling? And where is the benefit to my client? How do I reach my different client groups to make my product and services public and, in the best case, well known? Which distribution channel want my clients me to use? What do my client relationships look like? Which other groups may have an impact on my success? For example, politics, changes of laws, associations. When you have developed your external strategy, you can continue to develop your internal strategy. That means to answer the questions: how does my business make this happen? What has to be done to make my external strategy happen? Which task do I have to fulfill the least to make my business run, to sell my products and services? So the internal strategy is about your structure and organization. The finances at the bottom of the model reflect every single action you take in monetary form. On the one hand, it documents your running costs or investments that are needed to make your external strategy happen. Again, that means to think about the costs you have when fulfilling at least the tasks that make your business run. On the other hand, you document your income by selling your products and services or when you obtain fundings. Again, your business model is pedestaled on the money, costs, and income. Everything you note above for your external strategy and internal strategy must be reflected in money at the bottom. What is my business's income? Which costs incur? Practicing business model canvas. The business model canvas works best when the 9 components are printed on a large surface, like for instance a flip chart paper, whiteboard, or blackboard, so that you by yourself or different people together can develop, document, and even present the business model. It is recommended to use stickers or a whiteboard marker or chalk. It depends on what you're using as surface. That makes it easier to first brainstorm and then structure your thoughts. Note down keywords on your considerations for each of the 9 fields. The sticky notes let you develop your business model differently in the different areas. Formulate your thoughts in addition to the canvas on 1 or 2 pages per field using the key questions for the 9 parts. This helps others understand your keywords from the canvas and build up a picture of your business plan. Please work on the single component in the order as I now introduce the canvas method. The first component, value proposition. Your product and or service should solve client problems or satisfy client needs. This value proposition is the reason why a client decides whether or not to choose your business. If your value proposition also offers a societal benefit, this may increase its appeal and marketability, depending on your client's. The product and or service may also consist of various packs which are based on the needs of specific client segments. Your product and or service can be innovative and offer something completely new. However, it may also resemble other products and services available on the market. It must have at least one additional feature, what is known as a USP, a unique selling point. The question behind the unique selling point is, how does your value proposition differ from competitors on the market? Try to think from the client's perspective. What is the client's benefit from your value proposition? It may be a quantitative benefit, like the price or speed of performance, or it can be a qualitative benefit, like, for example, user-friendliness, your person, or environmental friendliness. Key questions on value propositions are: which product and service packages do you offer your client segment, and how do these differ from the competition? Concerning client benefit, which client needs do you fulfill? Which problems do you help your product or service? What exactly is the client benefit? How can the client benefit be enhanced by aspects of sustainability? How do your value proposition differ from competitors on the market? Your unique selling point. On the sticker note, you can follow an imaginative example. This example does not serve as a complete business model canvas, but should give you an impression on the relation between the different components. In real, please always write down all key notes for each component. Please use one sticker for each keynote of a component. In our example, we want to sell economic counseling. Economic counseling could take place personally. We also could offer trainings on the job or webinars. Each offer would get an own sticker with the value proposition and client benefit. So in our example again, we offer economic counseling and webinars. The customer benefit shall be to save money in the midterm run. And our unique selling point is to deliver the minutes of the meeting to the customer within 24 hours. The client's benefit of this USP could be able to start working on the topic right after. The next component you are working on is on your client segments. This puts the client at the heart of your business model. Every business serves one or more client groups. Divide the different client groups depending on their needs, behavior, or other characteristics like values or socio-demographic characteristics. Is your client group private people or business? You must consciously decide on specific client segments you wish to focus on and/or ignore. When doing so, keep the development of your target market in mind and analyze the market, the clients, and the competitors for your product and/or service. Evaluate for your value proposition whether a competitor is indeed a competitor, or if that competitor might be a potential cooperation or partner later, because your both value propositions together would make the service complete for the customer. Again, when you do detailed research on the market situation, including your client segments, competitors, and the latest development of your market, it allows you to estimate and determine the market potential for your business model. Key questions on the client segments could be: who are your key clients? And please characterize each client group on a sticky note. How is the market structured with regards to clients, rivals, technological, environmental, social, or economic trends? Who are the most important competitors? Think about the so-called hidden champions. These are competitors who seem to be invisible on the market. They might communicate their value proposition directly to the client and may not use mainstream channels who can be accessed by everybody. They might seem small because, for instance, they do not publish customer testimonials through easily accessible channels to communicate them to anybody. Another question could be: how can a competitive advantage be achieved by taking into account the principles of sustainability, such as energy efficiency, health compatibility, or fair trade? For that, you must know your clients. What values do they have? Again, you can start with characterizing your client groups and then analyze your competitors. Your client groups, of course, should exist somewhere you want to deliver your value proposition to. And as a result, what are the trends on your market? How does your market develop? In our example, our one client segment shall be companies of the service industry with at least 10 employees. And we found out that to act environmentally sustainable in daily business life is very important to them. When you are done with component 2 so far, you can continue with your client relationships. You have client relationships with each individual client group. In your component of the client segments, you just clarified the nature of your clients. Now you clarify possible relationships to each individual client group. Depending on the strategy, a client relationship can have different motives. For example, acquisition, to promote customer loyalty, or to increase sales. Key questions on client relationships can be: what kind of relationships suits your client segment, the product service you offer, and your strategy? Check this out for each offer and each client group. What are your clients' expectations with regard to environmental and social aspects? You should have answered this in component 2. Can you already estimate how cost-intensive your client relationships will be? In our example, for economic counseling, the core client relationship is to sell the service to our clients from the service industry. It is important to the client that we use public transportation whenever possible and think beforehand if a printed version is really needed. We already found out that when we analyzed that client group in component 2, the client segment. When it comes to the channels, please describe how would you like to appeal to and reach your clients in order to sell your product and/or service. In doing so, please distinguish between communications and sales channels. These channels are the interface between you and your clients and an important requirement for client satisfaction. Key questions on channels are: which communications and sales channels would you like to use to reach your clients? Can you open up new channels by integrating aspects of sustainability? How cost-intensive are those channels? How can these channels be integrated into your business and your client workflow? Which work best? In our little imaginative example, it is said to perform the service of counseling personally at the client's office. That would be the sales channel. With regard to the client's value to act as much environmentally sustainable as possible, we could offer video calls and webinars to the customer as well. That then would be another value proposition in component 1. So if the client is located further away, it may be important to the customer that some meetings will take place as video calls. It also may be important to the client to offer webinars to their employees, so nobody needs to travel with regards to CO2 emissions. Regarding communication channels, our client might want to meet us and work personally first. Another video call might be an option for our client to answer less questions beforehand. We as contractor will also communicate that we are only using green energy. Since half of our business happens online, our choice of alternative energy sources is important to our clients, which we found out when we did research on our client segments in component 2. Later, when our business is established, we may live off customer recommendation because of our high quality work and fast work. When you have worked out your external strategy, you can move on with your internal strategy. That means now focus on the organizational structure of your business. Component number 5, key activities. For the key activities component, please describe all significant activities of your business that must be undertaken in order to operate successfully. This includes developing the product and/or service, as well as communications, sales, and financial controlling. Key questions on key activities may be: which key activities does your business require in the different areas? Does an environmentally or socially responsible focus produce opportunities like quality or supply guarantee? Which activities do you perform yourself? On which would you like to work together with partners? What does the implementation roadmap look like before and after the business has been started? In our example of economic counseling, marketing is one key activity to acquire first clients. Marketing will be a key activity that needs to be done with external partners in this case. The owner of the organization, her or himself, will perform the service. Key resources. Only when you have determined the most important activities in the startup and developmental stage of your business, you can define the resources you require. Determine the key resources of your key elements. This may be to create your value proposition, to serve markets, to fulfill relationships with client segments, and to generate income. Different key resources are required depending on physical, financial, intellectual, or human nature, and can belong to you, be leased, or be acquired by key partners. Carefully consider the location you choose with regards to which location factors matter to you. You also determine the legal form of your business and the areas of responsibility for members. So key questions on key resources could be: which key resource does your business require in the different areas? To what extent does a clear focus on sustainability ensure the acquisition of key resources? For example, employees, investors, or market partners. Which location factors are important to your business? And what is the legal form of your future business? In our imaginative example, we need to work on the legal form since we found out in component 2 that our client segment prefers to limited companies and does not like to work together with freelancers for liability reasons. Our client segment also expects that our organization is additionally insured concerning liability. Further on, we recognize in component 2 that it is important to our client segment to have a certain degree for economic link. That is why we go back to school and participate in an online study program. Key partnerships, component number 7. Most organizations do not carry out all activities themselves, but build a network of partners. The description of these key partnerships in order to fulfill the key activities is also part of the segment, since it has to be clarified that all key activities can take place. Describe your supplier and partner network, which could have an impact on success of your business. Various kinds of partnerships may arise. This could be strategic partnerships, cooperations, joint ventures, buyer-supplier relationships. There may be different motivations behind these partnerships too. This could be improvements and economies of scale, reducing risks and uncertainties, and acquiring specific resources and activities. Key questions on key partnerships may be: who are your key partners? Which key resources do you procure from your partners? Which key activities do your partners perform? Which partners can you assist in the implementation of sustainability requirements? In our imaginative example for economic counseling, back on the sticker note, we plan cooperations with colleagues in order to be able to accept orders from medium-sized and big companies, since in component 2, we said that our client segments are companies of the service industry with at least 10 employees. We also plan cooperations with partners for the strategic reason to be their subcontractors also. A cooperation may end up in a joint venture later. The online college is needed to make a certain degree, which we found out is very important to our client segment. Again, you need to know your customer and competitor to think about the keynotes for each single component. In our example, we also need an attorney for our legal form limited and for our terms and conditions. And last but not least, we need a marketing agency to acquire first customers, since marketing is a key activity. We here in this example prefer professional help for marketing. How many? This area describes all financial issues that are related to your business. Business costs on the left-hand side appear in opposite of the sources of income that you see on the right-hand side at the bottom. As said earlier, your costs and income in monetary form reflect what you have designed in the areas above. To help the reader of your business model canvas to understand those figures, it is highly recommended to create a financial plan and enclose it to your business model canvas. We come to component number 8, sources of income. All earnings you draw from your client segments, component number 2, are sources of income. The key question here is, how much is each individual client segment willing to pay? It is one thing if you found out that your client segment got lots of money to purchase your product or service. It is another story if your client segment is willing to pay your price for your specific product or service. Again, that is why a very detailed and careful market analysis is a key component at the very beginning when you design your business model. So each source of income may have different pricing mechanisms, such as fixed list prices, packages, master contracts, auctions, depending on the market, depending on volumes. The sources of income may be transactions from a single client contract or can be repeat payments. Additional sources for covering the financial include financing from family and friends, bank loans, fundings, which may be for investments or as working capital in the beginning. Key questions on sources of income may be: what does the financing look like even before turnover from client income has been generated? Have you drawn up a plan? What is the maximum the product and or service can cost? How much are your clients willing to pay? Which pricing strategy are you pursuing? Again, you need to know the market to be able to answer that question. The sustainable focus of your business model permit better access to revenue streams? For example, this increases your client's willingness to pay that price. If so, which? How much does each source of income contribute to overall turnover? Our imaginative example on the sticker notes, we figured out our client segment wishes a package per project. They also want us to train their employees in webinars. They want not to pay an hour, but to pay per participant of the webinar. We decide to perform a webinar with at least 30 participants. We also found out that with all other key activities besides providing our services, we have no more than 100 hours per month. Then we calculated in our detailed financial plan, which is attached to our business model canvas, how much we could make. We always considered our customers' values, maximum price they are willing to pay, and realistic estimation on how many hours of counseling a package could be and how many webinars would a client be willing to order for his benefit. Cost structure, component number 9. Describe all costs incurred when implementing your business model. The value propositions, key partners, key resources, and key activity components are all associated with costs. Key questions on cost structure may be: what are the costs associated with your business model? Which key resources and activities are most expensive? How can savings be achieved through efficient and environmentally friendly procedures or measures, such as in consumption of resources or recycling? In our imaginative example, we have to finance investments to start our business. For our legal form and terms of condition, we need to pay a lawyer. For our initial marketing campaign, we need to finance the marketing agency, our key partnerships. And our online study program costs money as well. We also need to buy technical equipment like a computer and printer to be able to work. And in our detailed financial plan, we found out that we might need to cover the running costs for the first 6 months until we receive our first income. Again, in your external strategy on the right-hand side, you make money by selling your value proposition that you provide to the different client groups. Communication and distribution channels, as well as the different client relationships and your internal strategy, your organization and structure, usually cause expenditures. At the end, you can compare if your income is high enough to cover your business and private costs in the long run. And again, please check, are your client groups willing to pay the price you want to sell the value proposition for? You find all the details which I just explained in the manual of the business plan competition Berlin-Brandenburg, or you follow this link. And again, as I said in the beginning, the development of a business model usually is an ongoing process. You might be happy with your results today and have new thoughts days later. Your new thoughts might be the result of your earlier work on your canvas model. That means if you would not have worked on your canvas earlier, you might not have those new thoughts later. The integration of your new thoughts might change your key notes on other aspects that are already collected on your canvas. That is meant by an ongoing process. And that is why it is recommended to use sticky notes. You can move and remove them easily and also use your canvas as a creative method by trying different options. Again, to participate in the competition of the business plan competition Berlin-Brandenburg, you have to hand in your business plan and or business model canvas, a summary of your canvas and forecast on your next steps, and a description of each segment on 1 or 2 pages. I thank you very much for listening. I'm going to read your questions so I can answer them. Thank you. One question is, do I need a financial plan like the business plan? I highly recommend to work out a very detailed financial plan like you find it in a bankable business plan. Yes. The other question is, I have a business model with paying B2B clients and B2C users. How can I bring in the users into the canvas? Okay, let me go back to component 2. Paying B2B. As I said earlier, in component 2, client segments, which you find on the right-hand side, please use one sticker note for each client segment. So for example, if you have B2B clients that are willing to pay for your value proposition, check if you further need to divide your B2B clients and use one sticker note for each client group. And you can also use sticker notes for each B2C user. Unfortunately, I don't know what you are doing. I hope this helps you. Yes, they both belong to clients. Because you offer your value. I'm sorry, I have to think first before I talk. Because you have paying B2B clients and B2C users, and you offer your value proposition to both. So I recommend take first your B2B clients and check if you, when you characterize them, could you all bring them in one group, or would you further divide them in different client groups because they have different values or they have different interests and or would pay different prices depending on the packages? And then do the same with the B2C users. Ask yourself, characterize them and ask yourself if there are differences between your B2C users in behavior, values, socio-demographic factors, and group them. And use one sticker for one client, for each client segment.